Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello guys, and how are you? I hope you enjoy your day. And today we are from group 4. We would like to present our presentation under the title Characteristic of Good Test. So before we start our explanation, I would like to introduce our members to you all. For the first member is Saniatul Maslucha, it's me. And the second one is AGUSTINA RAHAYU. And the last one is RAHMA RIXCA PRASETYA. Alright, what do you know about characteristic of good tests? So there are 5 characteristics of good tests. For the first is validity, the second one is reliability, the third number is practically, the next one is authenticity, and the last one is washback. So our members will explain about that, and let's get started.
Number 1. Validity. Validity is centered when test scores. It is considered better because it can produce data, validity score, which are an accurate representation of the level of knowledge or skill. A student's reading ability can have an impact on the validity of an assessment. For example, if a student has a hard time comprehending what a question is asking, a test will not be an accurate assessment of what the student truly know about a subject. Validity also have 5 types. The first type is fast validity which is determined empirically. The second one is concept validity. It's quite easily imagine taking a test after going through an actual good course. The next type is construct validity, or what's called basically concept without measure. Next is controlled validity. For example, in a course unit whose objective is for students to be able to orally produce voiced and unvoiced stuff in all possible point environments. The result of one teacher on a test might be compared with an independent assessment, such as a commercially produced test of similar phonemic of proficiency. And the last one is predictive validity is a test with high predictive validity is a test that will yield predictable result in a later measure. A simple example of test they might be considered with predictive validity is the Royal National Examination Book product conducted at school in Malaysia and is intended to predict the study. Reliability is a necessary characteristic of any good test. A test must first be reliable as a measuring instrument. Reliability measure is why it's commonly referred to as test retest. Reliability to distinguish it from mixed or remixed reliability, and the other kinds of reliability described later in this section. There are some factors that can affect the reliability of a test. They are test selection factor, teacher and student factor, environment factor, test administration factor, and marking factor. Practically is language testing that refers to administration economic unfairness. The probability of expensive testing is practical. It consumes more time and money than is necessary if it's called. There will be situations in which, after we have already determined what we can consider to be most valid tests, a valid test of the spoken interaction. For example, words require that examines relates, interact with peers, and speak on topic and are familiar and comfortable with.
Number 4. Authenticity. Authenticity, in other words, is the material or text being tested must be reflect the reality that will be faced in the real condition in the field. The number of tests that fail to be simulated as a text is of course reasonable because the tests they make are not based on authenticity but are made up. For authenticity to increase and not fade, there are several ways such as the following. A. The language used should be as natural as possible. B. The items made must be contextual. C. The topic chosen must be interesting for students. D. Questions are grouped thematically. E. The text given must be a text that is often found in the real world. Number 5. WASHBACK. WASHBACK is defined as the impact that occurs after a test is heard, both in lessons and during the learning process. This statement is based on Bailey, who says that in general, WASHBACK is defined as the influence that arises from tests on learning and teaching system. There are two types of WASHBACK, namely positive WASHBACK and negative WASHBACK. Positive WASHBACK will be able to strengthen the teaching and learning system, while the negative WASHBACK is the use of standard test item in the instructions given by the teacher. Negative WASHBACK can affect the quality of student learning and student teaching systems. Gates suggests the following factors affect the impact of WASHBACK are prestige, accuracy, transparency, utility, monopoly, anxiety, and practically. WASHBACK can be achieved by considering the difference between formative and summative tests. The formative test is giving WASHBACK in the form of information to students, while the summative test is an assessment at the end of academic year, course, or program being undertaken.
Well, the last explanation is conclusion. There are 5 characteristics of good tests, namely validity, reliability, practicality, authenticity, and washback. Validity is centered on test scores, which have 5 types. There are face validity, content validity, construct validity, concurrent validity, and predictive validity. While reliability is a necessary characteristic of any good test, a test must first be reliable as a measuring instrument. There are some factors that can affect the reliability of a test, such as test length factors, teacher and student factors, environment factors, test administration factors, and marking factors. And practicality in language testing refers to administers, economic, and fairness, while authenticity, in other words, is the material or task being tested must reflect the reality that will be faced in real condition in the field. And the last is washback. It's defined as the impact that occurs after a test is held both in lessons and during the learning process. And washback has 2 types. There are positive and also negative. Alright guys, Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin, and that's all our explanation about characteristic of good test today. We hope it will be useful for us. Thank you for your attention. Have a nice day. See you and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.